What's going on, guys? This is the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, presented to you by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. If you bet $100, you're going to get $100 at WynnBET.com or download the WynnBET app and start winning today. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Final Four Watch Party, April 1st at 7:30 p.m. SGP will be at the Ice House in Los Angeles, so come hang out with the crew. All the info at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/icehouse. So we are doing our draft series. We're drafting from the 1 all the way to the 12 spot in a Superflex 12-team rookie mock draft. The idea here is to talk about what to do from each of these spots, some trade scenarios, some best values, and how to make sure that you come out of the draft with the best possible value for your picks. So let's start the draft. And the first pick is Bijan Robinson. With Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Jahmyr Gibbs, we're on the 5 spot. Same scenario as before.
Yeah, so for me, I'm looking at the quarterback position. You're at the 105. There's a good selection here. You've got the upside that you go with Anthony Richardson. You can go with, the prototypical guy that's played the position for a little bit longer. He's a little bit older, and Will Levis. It's kind of your preference. Do you want to go with upside? Do you want to go with floor? Or you can take the top receiver on the board in JSN or Jordan Addison. You've seen those kind of flip-flopped a little bit. For me, I'm looking at the quarterback position. But the little caveat here is I'm probably looking to trade back out of this pick, right? At the 105, I like the options that I have really for probably the next 4 to 5 picks. So I'm willing to trade back all the way to like the 108 or the 109 and still get a caliber player that I think is pretty even to what you're going to get here at the 105.
Yeah, and there's some people that will see Anthony Richardson and they will want to jump and pay up. If somebody wants to do that,
if they're at 105, to be honest.
Yeah, if somebody wants to do that, you can definitely make that trade up, and go get them. JSN might be the best available, or Gibbs if Richardson went at 4. We talked a little bit about before the show about the landing spots. Be very interesting to see what happens if Will Levis or Anthony Richardson went to the Colts versus other scenarios. You got other teams. I think the Falcons would be a very good spot for both these players with the way they run their offense. You see how Ryan Tannehill thrive with Arthur Smith, a lot of RPOs, rushing. Those things Anthony Richardson and Will Levis can both do. They got Drake London, Kyle Pitts. You have the Raiders have Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs. You also have, if they were to fall later in the draft, go to Tampa. And Tampa's got, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and some weapons. So these guys could be interesting scenarios, but Shane Steichen specifically with what he's done with Jalen Hurts recently and what he's done in the past with Phillip Rivers would be interesting for either one of these quarterbacks. And then, like you said, you have your pick of the litter as far as receivers. And I think anyone's going to be pretty happy here, but there's always the option to trade back. Brad, I'm going to give you the ability to make the pick.
We're going to spice it up. I'm going with my boy Will Levis, my fellow Kentucky Wildcat here, and we'll see how the rest of the board plays out.
All right. And where did Will Levis get drafted, by the way?
Oh, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the latest DJ. That be Daniel Jeremiah draft. I think it's number 3, his 3rd edition. I think it's pick 18 or pick 19. I like the spot. You got Chris Godwin. You got Mike Evans. Rashad White. I like the spot.
So it's pick 19, and it would be behind Baker Mayfield there. Baker Mayfield just signed with the Buccaneers last week. So the first round went Bijan Robinson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, Will Levis, JSN, Anthony Richardson, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston, Zach Charbonnet, Mike Mayer, and you have Kayshon Boutte. Then we have Josh Downs, Zach Evans, Devonta Chain, and then we have Jalen Hyatt. So very typical and considered what our previous mock drafts have had, except for Boutte went a little bit higher than in previous mock drafts, but him and Josh Downs kind of flip-flopped. All right, we're at the 205, and I think we have plenty of good options here. You have some good running backs on the board. Depends on the landing spot with them. If Hendon Hooker were to go in the first round, that would be a very interesting pick. We could go with the bully quarterback strategy and take 2 bites at the apple and increase our odds of hitting. And I have him in my mock draft going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick 19. DJ has him going to the Minnesota Vikings at pick 23 in his latest mock draft. So we're both on. I put my mock draft on it. Someone said, you must be on crack because you got Hendon Hooker in the first round. And then 2 days later, I saw Daniel Jeremiah's, and he said, well, apparently Jeremiah's your crack dealer. And so it is what it is.
That's right.
But the top odds per Vegas for the Hendon Hooker is Tampa Bay. Here, what are your thoughts here, Brad? What players are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, seeing this with the ability to get Hendon Hooker at 205, you should really be rethinking your strategy at the 105. I would say at that point, you look more at the Jackson Smith and Jigba. You look at maybe Zach Charbonnet, who I'm extremely high on, and then you take Hendon Hooker at the 205 to get your quarterback. If he goes in the first round, I don't think 205 is – you're not going to get him at 205 most likely. I think his ADP is going to jump up into the back end of the first round. But because of that, I'm okay passing on here because I just don't think that's going to be the actual available person at the 205 come draft time. So I'm looking at some of these running backs, whether you look at Kendre Miller, who I think has a 3-down skill set. If you want to look at Dalton Kincaid, if you're a tight end kind of guy, you look at him right here because he's not going to be there when you get around to the third round. Or you look at our guy that we preached in our last, really all 4 of the other ones in Zay Flowers at the wide receiver position. So those are really the 3 guys I'm looking at because I don't believe Hendon Hooker is going to actually be available here come draft time.
Yeah, for me, I mean, Dalton Kincaid is definitely in the cards. If you're in need of a tight end, that's the pick. Tight ends are so hard to find. Don't put so high expectations that you expect him to be your everyday starter this year. Go and get somebody like Hayden Hurst or someone like that to fill the gap for a little bit. But Dalton Kincaid, I think, could be a top tight end in the next 2 seasons, especially if he gets a good landing spot. And he could end up being the first tight end off the board. We don't know. Hendon Hooker, like I said, I'm thinking about it. I like Kendre Miller. Don't care what my boy Matt Hicks says. And Zay Flowers would be my pick here.
All right.
Zay Flowers would 100% be my pick.
Let's do it.
Had dinner with my Giants and had dinner with the Saints last night. It's interesting. The Giants, they're filling out their room. I don't know if Zay Flowers is going to be it now. They've not that Jamison Crowder is going to stop us from drafting Zay Flowers, but
no.
You're signing, you signed all these guys that play the slot. And so you have Isaiah Hodgins at 6'3", Darius Slayton 6'1", everybody else is under 6 foot. Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard. Now they have Paris Campbell, and then now they just added Jamison Crowder today.
Yep.
So the second round went Josh Downs, Zach Evans, Devin Achane. Then you have Jalen Hyatt, Zay Flowers, Sean Tucker, Tank Bigsby, Kendre Miller, Hendon Hooker, Seti Tillman, Tyjae Spears, Rashawn Johnson. Then Dalton Kincaid went 301. That's smash. That's steal.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice 302. Marvin Mims, one of my guys I'm really getting that a little higher on, 303. Tanner McKee at 304. And then we have our pick here, and there's quite a few picks. It looks like they want us to select Chase Brown.
It's
got the plus on him. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it does. I should probably move that just in case
that's fine.
Accidentally clicks him. I'm looking at Abanaconda right now, or Abanakanda. I should really probably know how to say his name at this point. But I'm going with Izzy at this. When you can be at the 305 and get a guy who's got the breakaway speed that he has, the run time that he's had in an offense, that's probably the guy I'm looking for right now. The only other one, and that's going to be Rakim Jarrett, who I've talked about before, who I'm a little higher on than others. I just think he has a really, really nice skill set that it's going to translate to the next level.
Yeah, getting Izzy or Chase or Eric Gray here for me would be a very big win. Now that I've gone quarterback, I've gone receiver, that I'm able to get a good solid running back in the third round that I think could, take over a backfield next season. So give me Izzy. He's top available.
Let's do it.
All right. And then I am the next pick. And I'm just going to auto pick that. Darnell Washington, Rakim Jarrett, Stetson Bennett, Deuce Vaughn, Luke Musgrave, Xavier Hutchinson, Max Duggan, Jaron Hall. Man, all these quarterbacks going, I don't know if that's going to happen in your drafts, but it could. There's a lot of people that are, this is a super flex draft. I'm going to scoop up all the quarterbacks and hope I get Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
So the third round, Dalton Kincaid, Rashee Rice, Marvin Mims, Tanner McKee, Izzy, Evan Akonda, and then you have Darnell Washington, Rakim Jarrett, Stetson Bennett, Deuce Vaughn, Luke Musgrave, Xavier Hutchinson, Max Duggan. Then you have Jaron Hall, you have Tucker Kraft, Will Mallory, and then you have Josh Wiley. And then we are on the clock. And some of the players we talked about last round are still available. I don't think they're going to be available. People are usually pretty thirsty for running backs. And so Dwayne McBride, Debo McBride, Chase Brown, Eric Gray, Keaton Mitchell, those guys would all be on my radar. Brad would be adding Parker Washington to the list.
Yeah, but the depth at the running back position here is just too much to pass up to go get Parker Washington, especially when most likely he's going to be out there on the waiver wire for you to go get. Not a lot of leagues are going to have more than a 3-round rookie draft to begin with. So some of these players you may be looking at getting off of the waiver wire post rookie draft, which I really think is crazy when you think about some of these guys that are not currently being drafted in a typical 3-round rookie draft. So I like Eric Gray here, probably the most out of all of them. I just think he has a better 3-down skill set that can be utilized, whereas Chase Brown's more that kind of speed guy. I feel like Kenny McIntosh is that pass-catching guy. So I'm probably leaning Eric Gray here.
Well, Eric Gray's my guy, so him or Chase Brown I'm totally fine with. And the other guy that would be considered would be Evan Hull, but I mean, I'm an Eric Gray guy, and I also like Chase Brown.
It'll be very interesting to see where Evan Hull goes. For those of you that don't know, running back out of Northwestern, I'm curious, right? That because I do think draft capital is going to kind of dictate where he goes in the rookie draft. Because if he goes in the 3rd or 4th round, I think people are going to start sniffing around him a little more than what they are right now.
Yeah, and so there's the 4th round right there. We finished it up with Jaron Hall, Tucker Kraft, Will Mallory, Josh Wiley, Eric Gray, Dorian Thompson. You have Braylon Willis. You have Marlon Ford, and then you have Latu, Toon, Jake Heiner, and then you have Zach Kuntz. Kuntz had a perfect RAS score, the best score since they've been doing this for a tight end. Absolutely amazing. This guy is huge. Had an amazing combine, and he might just end up being a workout warrior, but he's definitely turned a lot of people's heads. Very similar to Jelani Woods last year, who popped up on the radar and ended up a 3rd-round pick, I believe, or a 4th-round pick. So Kuntz is someone that will be drafted probably higher than you see on here, and this is the first time we've seen him on any of our mock drafts, and I think that's a sign of things to come, that he's going to end up in the beginning of your 4th round as people are taking stabs on athletic tight ends, because there isn't anyone on here that's more athletic than he is.
Nope.
All right. Well, hey, appreciate you guys checking out the show. For those that are still with us, we still got one more special offer for you, and we want to say thank you to our sponsors.
Yeah, and we're talking about the SGP Final Four. Our sports gambling podcast guys are going to be hosting a Final Four watch party at the historic Ice House in Pasadena, California on Saturday, April 1st at 7:30 p.m. Make sure you get all the details at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/icehouse. We're also hosting a Masters deal. So if you're looking to hang out with Sean and Ryan, our cats at SGP, at Stadium Swim, and you want to watch the biggest golf tournament in the world, you can get that opportunity to win a 3-night stay in Circa Las Vegas and hang out with the guys. The contest is completely free to enter. All you have to do is go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/golf party. And don't worry, because if you don't win, you can still get a discount on a room at the Circa Las Vegas using our promo code SGP15. And we are also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is heating up for March Madness. The College Pick'em is a great way to get in on all the action. especially if your bracket got busted after day one. Underdog Fantasy also has your favorite college basketball player props. So head over to underdogfantasy.com and use our promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $100. Again, that's underdogfantasy.com promo code SGPN.
All right. Well, make sure you check out the other episodes. Appreciate you guys. As always, good luck this season.
Cheers.